kidding. Hello, and welcome back to Retrieving Sanity with your podcast host Keegan. And today I would like to talk about feeling like I wasn't working because I wasn't very physically active and how well, would have reacted in the past. But aside from that, this is a little segment called Recovery Reflection. Sorry, I forgot what I was going to name this little side project of mine. Going great so far, right? But that's the thing is that this is all about getting into more of a vlog, if you will. But that's more along the lines of this is still retrieving sanity, but this is a side project with retrieving sanity that is going to be focused on recovery reflections. So it's going to involve me and anyone else that is in recovery and anything that they want to talk about. So it's going to be recovery specific and it's going to be talking about just daily stuff. And it's not going to have a whole lot of other people at the moment. So it's going to be kind of me just going about a reflection of the day. And this could be still its own podcast of sorts, but it's going to be its own little side project because I can't do a whole nother podcast at the moment. So, anyways, this is also just for fun. So I just enjoy doing this. If y'all don't like it, then that's on y'all. And I need to make this live real quick. So give me 3, 2, 1, and public save. So now you can watch it on Facebook, and we're going to be going live quite a bit more often, and it's going to be interesting. I got to get my release schedule. My release schedule is going to be set. It's going to be on Sunday and Thursdays, and it's going to be at least one episode a week with multiple, possibly, on one or both. And then live streams are just going to be at random, but I'm going to try to keep the Friday one, but there's going to be some guests that take that slot, and of course some of the guests on Wednesdays. But enough of that, let's get into recovery reflections. So recovery reflections, what is it? What am I going to be talking about? Well, the biggest thing, like I said, I felt like I did not work. And why? Well, it's because I didn't move my butt a lot. Straight up honest. Like, I was at my computer a whole lot, and I did a lot of remote calls, and I did a lot of training, but I'm a very physically active person. My name is Keegan, and that is Irish for fiery one. I'm very active. I'm very hyper, is the best way to put it. But the thing is, back in the past, that would have thrown me in all sorts of a loop because I would have been just going out of my mind with what do I do? Because not only could boredom set in, but the whole feeling of like I'm not moving, so therefore I'm not working, and then my anxiety would kick in, and then from anxiety kicking in, then I start seeking ways to comfort myself, and that would include self-medication through alcohol. So that would include, well, just the rest of the day going back and forth because I would go to drink because I was anxious, and then I would get angry and depressed or whatever because I drank. And so I would drink to numb those emotions, and then I would get anxious, and it was just a very vicious cycle. And it could all start because of silly little things such as uh, working from home and just not being physically active. So, what can I do in those moments whenever I'm not feeling like I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing? Well, what I can be doing, first and foremost, is just do a little bit of exercise. There's nothing saying that I have to keep my butt right here 100% of the day. I can get up, I can go to the bathroom, and between bathroom breaks, I can do some push ups, I can do some squats, I can do something. I can do some lunges. It's something simple along the way from desk to the bathroom, or just get up and move over a few feet and do some push ups. It's nothing bad. And that right there can take care of the physical activity, which can also help decrease how hyper I am and really help me narrow down my attention span. If you can't tell, I didn't really get a whole bunch of exercise in. This is kind of afterthoughts as well. But the thing is that back in the day, not showing up to the job site would have meant that I was either drunk, extremely hungover, or rather just super drunk, and um, well, just not working, plain and simple. So for me, thinking that I'm not on site, even though I'm a technician, I have a shop that I go get parts from, meet up with the technicians and stuff, but otherwise it's just kind of all, they trust me with a vehicle to go service other people's copiers hours away sometimes. Like, that's a lot of trust. Back in the day, I would have thrown that all sorts of away, like, woof. But that's the thing, is that addiction wouldn't really care about anything. But aside from that, um, the whole aspect of not having to go to a specific spot all the time, it really is still sitting with me weird. And I've been doing this for 2 years, and I'm still sitting here like I have to go clock in at this place that I don't really have to, because I clock in on my phone, and that's because I can, well, be at the house working remotely. I can be at a customer's location already. I can be on the way to a customer's location, and vice versa, whenever I'm clocking out. So I don't have to be in one spot necessarily. So that already throws me for a loop. But then not having to go physically to the spot where I'm helping is even more weird. Because and I was even telling a customer about it earlier. I was like, isn't it weird that I can sit there and work on a computer, you're on a computer, and we're working on a copier, and it's all happening wirelessly and stuff? And he's like, yeah, it's pretty weird. And it's just like, it's still blowing my mind. Like, what is going on? But aside from that, um, one of the things that also got me in a weird little loop of sorts is the fact that, oh man, I got rid of my script, so it's all gone. Um, a feeling of nostalgia came over me while I was actually doing some of my push-ups, and I came back to the computer and I just scrolled through Facebook for a little bit because everyone does it. And I saw a picture of Naruto and the original team. If you know original Naruto, you know what I'm talking about. And I just got a huge wave of nostalgia, and I was just like, bam, whoa. And then later, I saw my cousin post something about Kingdom Hearts, and I was like, whoa, like even more nostalgia. And I started really longing for that feeling. And then I was like, wait, what feeling? And it kind of made me go like, nostalgia has a specific feeling. And what that is, it's a longing, right? It's a longing for something that once was and no longer is. So, what exactly was I seeking in those moments? And part of it was a little bit of innocence. I didn't have all that trauma, all the extra wounds and stuff at those points in my life. And, like, don't get me wrong, I had some, but not where I'm at now. And it's just, it was a simpler time. And then I had the thought of simpler, and my brain went boop right back to addiction. And I was like, whoa. And so I followed the train just because I was like, where did this come from? And it went all the way back to boredom. And I was like, oh, so I have to keep myself occupied a lot. And that's one of the things too, is that my attention span is really difficult to hold down. I need to get some kind of medication for ADHD that actually works. They tried me on some, and it thinned out my blood a whole lot. I didn't like that, and so personally I don't want to take it, but I don't know what other options I have at the moment, so we're going to figure it out. But in the meantime, I'm going to do what I can with what I got, and just hope for the best, and just try to improve 1% one day at a time. So, anyways, it got me feeling like that is how some people relapse, because that feeling of nostalgia is strong. And you know which kind of nostalgia I'm talking about, the kind that makes you go like, oh, I want that again right now. I want that to be my life right now. I want to experience that again, just even for a second. And if someone gets that kind of nostalgia for whenever they were using, and that's the thing, whenever you have a time period, so for me, about a decade of experiences to pull from, that's a lot of area to say, like, oh yeah, that's a specific feeling, you know. Um, but that's also the thing, is that that chunk of my life is its own feeling. And so, yeah, there's different sectors of it and all that, but one of them is that there's an overall feeling of the addiction. And again, that went to simpler, but it went to like, what do I do whenever I'm in boredom? And it's like, oh, hey. And then I also followed it back a little bit more, and I was like, what did I do in the day whenever I was bored? And that, my friends, was playing video games. I was playing video games whenever I was bored. I was researching things. I was going down Wikipedia rabbit holes. I was doing all sorts of stuff that was activating my brain muscles. And somewhere along the lines, I lost that. I don't know where. I don't know exactly how. But I do know that along the lines, somewhere before addiction really got its grip on me, I decided, life wasn't really worth it. And it wasn't necessarily like a conscious one either. It was a subconscious one that had emerged from just years of holding in pain. And it's one of those ones that I still don't talk about that often because, well, there's that stigma around that whole word. I don't even want to say it right now because it's one of those, it makes me feel bad that I've had those thoughts. And then I also have the anxiety, of, hey, this guy's freaking crazy. Lock him up. Like, because that's always a legitimate fear. But that's the thing, too, is that I have 4 years in, well, going on 4 years of active recovery and getting better every day. I mean, you can look at my job, you can look at my bank account, you can look at every aspect of my life, and it is 100 times better than what it used to be. And it's from doing the things that I need to do in recovery. And there's some people that I've seen in recovery grow so much and do so many amazing things that I look back at my own and I do that comparison game and I'm like, man, I haven't done anything. And then I have to remind myself, look what I'm doing right now. What am I doing right now? Exactly. So to me, recovery is about a whole bunch of things. It is its own life. And it just every day amazes me with it. And I want that feeling of nostalgia whenever I think back to early recovery. That pink cloud. I want that to be part of my nostalgia because that is going to push me to go and chase that pink cloud feeling of being in early recovery. And that's doing the right things. That's talking to my sponsor. That's talking to my sponsees. It's doing step work. It's going to meetings. All this crazy stuff that in unactive recovery, there's no time for, and I have to make time for all of this. And it's really difficult to do that. And I see that I'm at 14 minutes. So I'm going to wrap this one up here because I'm going to keep recovery reflections a little bit shorter, keep it back to that 15-minute time frame or so. So I just got to thank everyone for supporting Retrieving Sanity. I'm really trying to make this better. Please subscribe and share with your friends. And I mean, just say hi, drop a like, please. And I mean, just hi, love you. So with that, we're going to end it here. And this is Keegan with Retrieving Sanity, and I just hope that you have a wonderful rest of the evening. Schlan.